Good evening, everybody. It's time for the 48 First Alert Weather Extra. Tonight, got a few thunderstorms that'll come in after midnight. They're north of Nashville right now. You might actually be able to see the lightning from here. I was looking east on my way back into work, not really looking north. Nothing severe. They've got quite a bit of lightning north of Nashville, but it's a different setup once it gets down here to North Alabama. Going to talk a little bit later about Easter weekend. Forecast looks good for that. Our next chance of rain may not get here until Sunday night into Monday, so a week from today. So we've got some really quiet weather. After tonight's front comes in, it's going to cool off quite a bit tomorrow. The official high for tomorrow will probably happen after midnight tonight. So got Greta watching from Scottsboro. Sean Chapman checking in. Hello, Sean. I'll share your comments a little bit later. Actually, I could share them right now. So we'll be talking about that. We're going to be talking about, there's a possibility we're going to start to see the severe weather pattern shift to the north. So north and west. So watching from Scottsboro tonight. Good evening, Greta and Sean. I've got a few more of you on here commenting. Got about 94 of you on here. Get a few more of you catch up. But what we're looking at is the pattern change next week. We're going to be looking more at scattered showers and thunderstorms coming in next week. Overall, I think every 2-3 days we're going to get some action. But the severe threat you're going to hear a lot about for next week is going to be in the plains. So we're going to start seeing outbreaks of severe weather in Texas, Oklahoma, Nebraska, maybe northeast and northwest Arkansas, that is, and parts of Missouri. It happens this time of year. We start to see the entire pattern shift. And it's not to say we don't have severe weather in the forecast as we go through the rest of the months. But as we get into summertime, we typically see more in the way of complexes of storms moving through. They can be severe, a lot of lightning. And I had a good reminder message today from someone who had wind damage in the Shoals area last Thursday. It's like, it was only a severe thunderstorm, but yet they lost half the roof on their house. And that was a very unique event. And I was talking with the Weather Service the next day, and we're seeming to think it was what's called a sting jet. That's where you get part of the jet stream energy comes straight down, and you get what's called tropopause folding. So it's possible, I don't know if you guys can recall, that we're out there, especially in the Shoals, with that system, if you may have smelled more ozone, that would have been an indicator that that air came straight down from the stratosphere if we had the smell of ozone with it. I know a lot of times we talk about the smell of ozone after a big lightning storm. That's also the case there, but this would have been a very unique sense, so to speak. All right, let's talk about what's going on with your forecast. We are going to talk about a warm night tonight. It's a little hazy out there, and some of that haze is actually the pollen out there. Temperatures in Huntsville still in the low 70s, and as I mentioned, our high temperature, the official high for the day tomorrow is probably going to be 70 or so, and it's going to happen at midnight or 1 o'clock in the morning. These southerly winds continue to kind of feed in that warm air. Here's a look at those temperatures here just after 9:30 here. We're looking at low 70s, and we've got 60s over there. Fort Payne, 61, so we've got the cooler spots, and that's where they've been most of the afternoon. But we still don't expect too much of a change. The front is coming in. The cold front itself has just passed St. Louis, and that front's going to start moving through here during the very early morning hours. A little bit of a trough, we call it, out ahead of this with those showers and thunderstorms just to the north of Nashville. So we take a little bit closer look here. Quite a bit of lightning. If you live in Pulaski or Winchester or Fayetteville, Tennessee, you probably can see the lightning. Those tops are, I'm going to guess, 35, 40,000 feet in the air. And again, they're not severe. They may have some wind gusts around 30 miles an hour, but that's really about it. And just a ground clutter pattern there on the radar in Jackson County. Yeah, Mandy says the pollen is awful. What does ozone smell like? Well, it's hard to describe what ozone smells like. It's got a very unique smell. You just might have to Google it, but there's kind of a smell when it rains. It's got more of a nitrogen smell, but there's also, you can smell ozone as well. I may have to look that one up myself because I haven't talked about ozone in a long time. 57 tonight, still breezy out there. And then we're looking at 68 degrees. So overnight, so when you wake up, it's going to be 57. After midnight tonight, it's still going to be around 70. So the high tomorrow, some of you are going to struggle in the 60s. It's going to be breezy northwest winds. And here's what's happening tonight. This is the leading edge of the front. This is just after midnight. You see little spots of red here, and that would indicate where we have some locally heavy rain, a little bit of thunder out there. I'm not saying we won't have thunderstorms because it's a possibility. We're seeing that, as I just mentioned, north of Nashville. And as we go through the early morning hours, 2 a.m., 3 a.m., you may get the alert on your phone if you've got notifications on. It says, lightning's been detected near your location. So, again, that is my voice on the app, by the way. That's kind of cool. I had to go through and do all of those kind of like when I talk to Jim Cantori, and he's got to do all that stuff for the Weather Channel. All those, the weather on the 8s or whatever. I haven't watched them for so long, but anyway, that's the gist of it. AI probably does all that now. As we go through the day tomorrow, by noon, there's that northwest wind. It'll gust to about 20. The air is going to be really dry, and it's going to be in the low to mid 60s most of the afternoon. And it's going to be chilly tomorrow night, too, by the way. We're talking about overnight lows around 40 degrees. I don't think we're going to get a frost. I think we've had our last frost of the season, so that is good there. Here's your 3-day forecast. 68 degrees Tuesday. Again, it looks a lot better than what it's going to be because I think most of us are going to be stuck around 65. Then down to 41 on average Wednesday morning. Wednesday, we turn it around again, 70, and then 75 on Thursday. And we're going to take a minute break here. When we come back, we're going to talk all about the Easter. We're going to talk about the Good Friday forecast and the Easter weekend forecast and your 10-day forecast. That's all coming up. All right, again, everybody, a lot of questions here. Someone talking about, I think somebody best described it as what is the smell of ozone like? And I think somebody said, like, have you ever been in a computer server room or maybe an arcade? Yeah, it's kind of like the smell that electronics give off sometimes. That'd be a good way to describe it. That's a good one there, Nick. But again, talking about that from the previous last Thursday's event where we had this crazy wind come in. It wasn't, we thought it was a wake low at first, but then it just didn't look like a wake low on radar. And again, I talked with the Weather Service. And they think what might be, it's something like a sting jet out there related to that. I was ghost hunting one time and your voice scared me. Well, I have people, we're talking about the app and when it says lightning's been detected near your location. There's dogs that start barking when they hear my voice say that on the app, so that's pretty wild. But we're going to go on here into the forecast. We're going to talk more about the Easter weekend forecast, and I tell you, the Easter weekend looks really, really good. So here's the 3-day forecast. 68 tomorrow for those that missed it earlier, and then 70 Wednesday, 75 Thursday. A chilly night ahead. So this is the time of year where you go home and the house is warm, and you're like, I did this tonight. I was like, it was warm. So it was still set on heat to automatically kick on to 71. So had to turn the air conditioner on. The heat will be back on probably this weekend, though. Here's that Easter forecast. Easter sunrise is at 6:08 a.m. Hard to read on that card. I actually posted a different card. Well, I'm going to post a different card on my Facebook page and turn that card blue so you can read it a lot easier. But it's going to be 83 degrees Sunday in the afternoon. Morning temperatures are going to be in the mid to upper 60s. So it's going to be muggy to start the day. And by Sunday night, we may have some showers and thunderstorms. But here's the rain on the roof forecast. After tonight, it's a 0% chance all the way through Saturday. So this is a really nice stretch of weather. A lot of you are going to be out there. And the sun is deceiving this time of year. My wife was actually able to lay out when it was in the 60s last Friday. And you can get a burn because that sun, you can just feel it. And you could really feel it that Friday as the clouds were, actually she laid out Saturday. Friday was the day of rain, the cold rain showers that came through. But once the sun came out, you could really feel it warming up. Sean says, your app voice went off at church one time and the pastor said that was some good information. That's funny. All right, as we continue on, as we mentioned earlier, the pollen is extreme. We're starting to get the sycamore trees. The oak trees have really been pushing out, so the next thing's going to be hickory. Hickory is one of the last ones to come out. And keep in mind, tomorrow's north wind is bringing in the pollen we've already had to deal with. So we're going to have higher oak concentration because the oak trees are starting to come out in the Ohio Valley and out in the plains, and the wind's coming and originating from that area. So it brings the pollen. So this is kind of a pollen parade this time of year through here. Here's your 10-day forecast. I don't see any outbreaks of severe weather on our horizon. I think that the severe weather shift is going to be out to the west, at least over the next 10 days. You know, we still got to get past the entire month of April, the first 2 weeks of May before we're kind of out of the woods. But this is what it's looking like. Tomorrow, 68. For some of you, that'll probably be 64 because of that north wind. And then a chilly night tomorrow night. 70 degrees Wednesday afternoon, 75 Thursday. And there we go, Good Friday, 80. Morning lows in the 60s as we go into the weekend. And then it gets a little more unsettled, we'll call it, next week. Just periods of showers and thunderstorms. And some could be strong, just given it's April. But right now, I don't see a big tornado threat coming anytime soon. So there's some good news there. But again, we're not out of the woods at all when it comes to that. So again, want to thank you guys for tuning in here for the Weather Extra. Going to get ready. Margot and I are going to do the 10 o'clock news coming up. I don't know if we got any big breaking news tonight or not.
Not really breaking.
Yeah, so again, it's your typical Monday night. It was a Monday too. Tax day tomorrow. Tax day. I've been massaging my taxes the last 2 days. We're going to see what we come up with. I may just get out a dartboard. But, yeah. Yep, wait till the last minute. Appreciate you guys. I'll see you tomorrow night at 9:30. Same time, same channel.